This is the KennyM show. Right, this is KennyM. Thanks for joining again this week. Last week we started talking about the 7Ds to think and grow. And today is the second phase. We talked about dream last week. Today we're talking about desire. So before I go into this week's chat, our quote for the week. And I think it's one of Jim Rohn's quote. It says, "For things to change, I have to change. For things to change, I have to change." You take a normal standard cup sitting on a table. If nothing pushes the cup is going to remain exactly in that same position without going to the next position. So you sort of bring that back into your normal situation. Whichever position you're in now, imagine you being the cup. And if you don't change, i.e. allow a certain force to push you into the next stage, you're going to remain where you are. I'm not saying you don't like your position, but all I'm saying, taking me for example, if I want to change, or if I want certain things to change in my life, I have to change in the first instance. So I need to allow myself to be pushed if someone wants to push me, or I need to push myself if that is what I want to do. So keep that in mind. For things to change, I have to change, you have to change, we all have to change, and the world is going to be a better place. Thank you. Right, so we move into the 7Ds. Talking about desire today. Last week, we basically started talking about this 7D series I've put together. And the dream, as I mentioned, is the idea that kicks off everything. If you want to sort of grow as in trying to expand your current position, moving into a higher level, or sort of aiming higher, like progressing in life. You can't remain where you are forever. Like a bit like children, or once they're born, they move from stage to stage. Initially they wouldn't have been crawling when they were a baby, and then they start crawling on the belly, and then they start standing up, trying to hold things, and then once they take that step, you wish they hadn't done that, because they start pushing things around, they everything they come across, they'll just jump it. But that is the stages the kid has to go through. And then before you realize, they're walking, they're running, and then they start doing all these swimming or tennis or whatever. So that is the stages for children. And then we growing up as well, obviously we want to progress in life. So these series is they're basically aimed at helping you to try and pick yourself up from where you are now, to try and progress and achieve something better in future. So we're talking about desire today. And what is it? It's basically something that goes on within. It's not really tangible to say, well, I see desire there. You could see desire from someone's attitude, but in terms of the actual desire itself, what it does, how it is, it's all internal. It all runs through the person and basically goes up into the person's head. That's where it kicks off from. It's not in the palms where you're saying there's a tingling feeling, I feel that desire within. No. It's all up in the head, in the brain. That's where it kicks off from. So it's an inner feeling and an inner desire that you want something so bad, like that feeling, strong feeling that you want something so bad. And then once that feeling comes in, you try to put certain steps in place to try and achieve it. I'm going to debunk this. Don't you think the desire will just come just like that? Some do. I don't disagree. Once they have the idea, they get desire coming straight on, and then they start moving towards the third phase and the fourth phase and stuff. But some would have to go through a certain phase before the actual desire will kick in. It might not be an inner feeling thing they would get. It might be drawn from certain things they listen to. It might be drawn from certain areas they attend, the society they're in, the association they find themselves in, So it might not just come straight away once the idea kicks in. It'll probably be a gradual process. But once some of you who get the idea and then delve straight into the desire bit, then you are one of the lucky ones. So you're having this emotion inside of you to want to develop this idea that has come into your mind, and you get the strong edge, you get the strong feeling, you want to expand it, you want to build upon it, you want to make sure you realize this dream of yours. That is the desire I'm talking about today. That innermost sense feeling of wanting to grasp whatever dream that you've written down, or whatever dream that you plan of. And then in this world that we're in, yes, there are types of desires. You'll have the negative and the positive desire. So it could be an inner feeling of you wanting to do something bad. I am not talking about a negative desire here. I'm on about a positive desire, something that would make you worthwhile in your society, something that would make you a better person for your family, something that would make you a better person in society. I'm not talking about any negative desires. There are negative desires. They draw you closer to do certain negative things in the society. I'm not going to mention the negative things, but those aren't the things I'm talking about. I'm talking about the positive desire, the desire of of you wanting to become a better person, a desire of you wanting to progress from one stage to another, a desire of you wanting to achieve and become someone better, And as I was mentioning earlier on about these desires coming in from different angles, a lot of us, the conditioning that we had when we were little kids growing up, fear is a factor. You might have the idea will just come to you. You might write it down, but as you want to develop this desire, so that it basically propels you into moving to the next stage, basically, that inner feeling. This fear kicks in, and there is they call it an acronym. There is this fear explanation that's been put out there in the world. It's false what entities appearing real or something like that. But this fear cripples you. This fear basically stops you from actually developing this idea. And a lot of these I mentioned earlier on is from the conditioning that we've had. So from where we've grown up in our own nuclear family, an extended family, how we've been brought up, how our parents have actually progressed in life themselves, how our peers have progressed in life themselves, how our family have progressed in life themselves. It all falls apart. It starts coming into this second desire stage. So you might struggle to actually feel that innermost desire within you straight away. And yes, I could understand that, because maybe you haven't been brought up to develop ideas quickly. Maybe you've been brought up in an area where ideas come in and then people just brush it off. So you are used to the fact that people do discourage you, and that might happen in the area, in your home, or in the area where you're growing up. So that is a factor. You've got to be careful, and do appreciate and understand that conditioning plays a big factor. And if you are in that state where you've been conditioned, not necessarily a thing anybody chooses, but it comes naturally, because from where you were born into. So your conditioning would take a step. The beliefs that you may also have had, you know growing up, this is the belief, this is the belief, this is what we believe in, this is what we believe in. We don't want you to do this, we want you to do this, we want you to toe this path, we don't want you to toe this path. This is how we behave, this is our sect, this is our religion, this is our clan, this is our this is our that. All these things, they keep resounding, and what happens is they build upon in your head, in your memory, in your subconscious mind, and it becomes your belief as well, and you start growing with it. Not talking about allergies, for example. I'm talking about just normal beliefs that you've grown and accustomed yourself to. You've basically accepted all these beliefs. And then what do? They start eating you up. They start eating you up. They start eating you up. So you might have the idea, but the desire is long away. You're not. You've got the idea. Oh, I want to start. Say I want to start a bakery, but then your mind is, parents started a bakery, it didn't really go well. Um, I don't really know how to cook. I was watching, oh, no, Mrs. and I were watching this program on TV, I think last week, and there was this woman on there. She started selling cupcakes. She's in the US. I've forgotten the name. I would have just mentioned it, but she started selling cupcakes. What fascinated me most was she didn't know how to bake before. She had two daughters, and the daughters were interested in baking sort of when they were growing up, but not her. She didn't have a clue about baking. So what did she do? She started learning. She had the desire. She had the idea. She had the idea to start a bakery, and she said, "All right, I don't know how to bake, so what do I do?" And she started learning. So there was a desire in there, but she started learning, and then she's making millions and millions of money from doing cupcakes somewhere in the US. So you would have that in your family. She was broke, and basically her story. I'll probably share her story later on. She was like broke. She didn't have money, and didn't have money to pay bills. Didn't have money to do this. But then that's a result of just having that idea to start that bakery. She's making tens and tens of millions of dollars. What I'm trying to tell you today is you may not necessarily possess the desire once you get the idea. And I'm going to tell you a story that would show you how this desire can start in you, can start that fire in you. You probably all know Benjamin Carson. So watching Ben's movie, family used to watch it quite a lot because it's very inspiring. And looking at the early stages when they were growing up, him and his older brother, technically in school, they were struggling because they weren't that bright. And along the line, he realized, oh, it was because he didn't have glasses on. So he would go to school, be listening to the teacher, but couldn't really see the board. And at that time, I don't think it had really clicked for him to realize it was the fact that he wasn't seeing properly. But anyway, they got him spectacles, and then it didn't really just improve his abilities just like that. They started going to the library. They loved TV so much. So every time they were spending watching TV, all sorts of TV programs, spending all their time watching TV. And it was affected his education in school. So along the line, he got his glasses, and then they started going to the library. He fell in love with the library. And as he kept on going to the library, repeatedly going to the library, not necessarily saying go to the library, but what I picked up on there was his interest in reading kept increasing. So he goes to the library, picks up a book, comes home, and then reading, all as a result of the push the mum was giving them. So he kept on reading, acquiring more knowledge, and with time, Ben had changed. There was a desire within him that had grown. So he wouldn't just be there without learning. His desire for the library kept on going up. So every time he had this burning desire, this inner feeling that he wanted to become better. And then in school, with time, things started changing. Was able to answer more questions, was able to get more pass marks in the courses that he was doing. And then his grades were going up, increasing. And I'm thinking, how did that happen? So initially, when he didn't have any desire, later on, there is the desire that you need to think and grow. So that desire, his desire in that particular sense, didn't just come just like that. It started off when he found something to do, when he started going to the library to learn. So all I'm trying to say here is, you may not have the desire in you in person, but it will come from a mentor. It will come from an association, people you mingle with. The more you get yourself closer into these small circles, positive circles, positive and good circles, that is when you realize certain things in you begin to change. If there wasn't any desire, you realize the desire begins to come. And then what do? You start thinking about how your idea is going to be developed. So with Ben's case, for example, the desire started becoming rich by the day. And his interest in learning was increasing, wanting to know more, wanting to go search him out if you don't know him already. he became one of the top surgeons in the US. From where he started off knowing nothing to what he became. Very, very inspiring. So what can it do for you? Well, I'm saying it's a face, and going through the 7Ds, you would actually understand how all these things tie up onto one another. But you've got the idea, the desire needs to be developed, because it sets you on the path to sort of push on when you're going slow in certain instances. That there has to be that desire. You need it for the next step, because without a desire, you're going to fall down along the line, and you wouldn't be able to realize your dream or your idea. So the desire is very, very crucial. There is a saying, opportunity comes but once. But there is another saying that normally counteracts that. It says, preparation meets opportunity, or opportunity meets preparation, whichever way they say it. If you're not really prepared, and you're not really up there in your head, when the opportunity comes, you might not even realize it. You would miss it. But when your preparation is on point, every time you're feeding your soul, you're attending the right places, you're listening to the good books, you're reading good books, you're listening to good music, you're not spending too much time on TV, you're doing all the necessary things on a daily basis. When the opportunity kicks in, when the opportunity comes, all the preparations you would have done up to that point will be realized. So what you're going to take away today is, you will have the idea, as I talked about in my first video, and some of you will have the desire, that inner feeling, that strong innermost feeling of wanting to get the dream, or of wanting to get the idea. Those are there. But if you're not those people, you may not have the desire now, but I'm telling you, you can get the desire, because you need it before you can go to the next stage. Without a desire, your thinking and your growing is going to suffer. So associate yourself with the right people, read the right books, watch good programs on TV if you want to watch TV, and mingle with good people. Attract yourself with good things, and then help your subconscious to try and do something for you. The subconscious is unbelievable. It can do unbelievable things, but help it to do certain things for you. Hopefully you've been blessed by this video today. I'll come again next week with my third D. You stay tuned to find out what it is. Stay blessed. Take it easy. I'll see you next week. Bye.
This is the KennyM Show.